Welcome back to the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller, thank you for joining us here on Tuesday, October 10th, another one of these marker days in the month of October, because tonight at 9:09 p.m., Pluto stations direct. Pluto has been extra powerful, has it not? We're going to talk about Pluto in a minute and do something that I've never done here before related to Pluto. But let's come back to that. Let's go back to the beginning of today, and we'll catch up to that because that's the bookend of this evening. Last thing on the charts tonight is Pluto stationing direct. The first thing on the charts is an opposition to Saturn. Saturn is in retrograde until November 4th. It has reached 1 degree of Pisces. Remember, it gets down there to 0 degrees Pisces in about 30-something minutes, but it does not cross into Aquarian territory. It stays in Pisces. But opposite Saturn, right there in the door of Pisces, is Venus, just in the door of the opposite sign, Virgo. So at 2:10 this morning, they exactly were in opposition. And the moon is just a degree back in Leo. So it's right there too, and it crosses over that precious threshold today because it moves into Virgo at 8 o'clock this morning, Eastern Time. Then give it 2 more hours, and just a minute or two after 10 Eastern, it is exactly opposite Saturn. We're not going to camp on the things going on in the world. We touched that yesterday. We'll keep an eye on it. But the opposite of love is war. And Venus is not happy in Virgo. I guess the moon is probably in the middle of its trajectory path, about almost 12 degrees per day. But both of these planets are going to be able to absorb that Saturn opposition today. The reason I say that is for both planets, both Venus and the moon. This little position right here, especially at the cusp, the first part of the sign, are just not the happiest of positions. Saturn is 3 weeks away from stationing direct, so it's starting to slow down, getting stronger every day. From a mundane perspective, certainly that type of scenario has energetically contributed to what we've been watching since Saturday. Both of these being fast movers relatively. And when you think that Saturn's not so super happy in Pisces, Venus is looking across the chart saying, that's my happy place. It's exalted there in ancient astrology. That's my happy zone. I want to be over there. Virgo is so formal. And then the moon is saying, well, think about the opposition. The moon resonates a whole lot more with Pisces and its connection to the ethereal than it does Virgo and its connection to the soil and the garden. So the moon wants to feel, and it wants to be ethereal, and it wants to go into the soul, and Virgo wants to clean up the garage. Okay, Mr. Moon, it's Thursday at 8:22 p.m., Libra. Yeah, got from now until then. But obviously, and we talked about this even on Sunday night, relationships, breaking up, marriages, and other kinds of relationships, separating the timelines, either karmic payback or Saturn just saying it's time to move on. Since you wouldn't have done it anyway, let me give you the boot. And that's not just a today thing. This has been brewing for some time. Now, let me turn the page here to Pluto's stationing direct tonight. And I did something. I'm going back to this book because I just like it. It's in the 101 course. We talk about it as kind of a supplementary guide textbook. Is Judy Hall's The Astrology Bible. Just well done. You know, when you find well done, you like to use it, right? And you like to refer to it. So what I did is I turned over to the page about Pluto, and I just found some good information. So I'm just going to read from the Astrology Bible. Let's just take a look here, because as you're thinking about all of this, so Pluto stationing to go direct tonight. Think about what house and sign Pluto is in your own chart and the aspects related to it. And then also in this conflict that's going on in the Middle East, Pluto in Israel's relationship chart to all of this is right down there at the bottom, at the nadir, or the Imum Coeli, and it's in the 4th house of home, the homeland. And I'm spending time with Israel's chart, with all of the charts. I'm just observing. I'm just spending time with it right now. But in Israel's chart from 1948, Pluto and Saturn are 4 degrees apart from each other in the 10th house. And then in the solar arc chart, they have moved into the 1st house. So if that piques an interest to you, then Pluto has a big, prominent position in this whole thing. So you can listen through those ears as well. So you're listening through your own life first, and then obviously the collective. Oh, and Pluto returned for the United States, right? Number 4, that it just hit 27 degrees of Capricorn. So with all of that in mind, just thinking of the glyph of Pluto, the crescent of the soul, hovers above the cross of matter, symbolizing the descent of spirit through the soul into matter, and the unconscious mind experiencing the fire of transformation. Some keywords of Pluto: power, abuse, birth, death, rebirth, regeneration, elimination, taboo, pollution, transmutation, subversion, obsession, compulsion, the unconscious mind, decay, dictator, religious conversation, psychoanalysis. And then this paragraph, which is entitled The Urge to Regenerate. Pluto embodies the drive to confront all that is deepest and darkest in the psyche, the planet of pollution, inner and outer. It is the toxicity of emotional and psychic abuse, and the repository of all things that are deemed unacceptable and evil in oneself and in the world. Evil is in quote marks. Pluto is all that must be eliminated, including the festering resentment, envy, and jealousy that lurks in the depths of the psyche. The planet forces such things out into the open so that the psychological processes that lie at the root of the behavior can be understood and transformed. It tempers the gold within the soul. This planet has much to offer those who are prepared to explore the places where others fear to tread. Used wisely, Pluto can transmute the blackest of experiences to release a potent creative force. All that has decayed becomes fertile compost for new growth. Seeds are sown and germinate in darkness. Pluto brings new life, forcibly if necessary. Used unwisely, Plutonian darkness festers, leading to an orgy of destruction. When unresolved, explosive Plutonian rage leads to war. And we're there, obviously. And while we're on that theme, 2 things that I would add to that. Pluto also rules all things nuclear, and it also represents extreme power. Sometimes Pluto is tucked away in somebody's chart, and their life theme of transformation is more muted. And then sometimes, like now, in these various charts, Pluto is amplified and is much stronger and louder, so thus more powerful. I hope that just listening to that might have brought a few things to mind for you. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow for Hump Day already. The sun is opposite Chiron at 2:20 in the morning, so that's in play today as well. We'll talk about that and more tomorrow. Have a great day. Sending you love, and we're praying for peace.